Welcome to the Real Bible Discussion Group YouTube channel. Today's topic: do scriptures command women to be silent in church?
1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 11 to 14. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner.
Hello, welcome to the Real Bible Discussion Group YouTube channel. I'm Leo, always your host, and today we're here to discuss about a topic that is very common in the Facebook group, in the Real Bible Facebook group. And the topic is the role of a woman in ministry. Sometimes the questions ask, can women be a pastor? Women should remain silent in church, be submissive to their husband at all times. Because that's how it was with Adam and Eve. Adam was created first. So there's different ways of asking about the same topic here. I picked a post for the sake of making comments on this subject, which is very apparently very common in the group and important for a lot of people. So I'm gonna make a commentary on it. So here it is. All right. Here's the post. 1 Timothy 2:11-14 says, a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. Do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, and Eve, and Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. Well, a little context here would help. I've seen this post all the time, different ways of asking the same subject, same question. It's very important to understand where Ephesus was and what was going on at the time in Ephesus. All right. So Paul went to Corinth, and while there, he took a road and ended up in Ephesus, and he was addressing Timothy in the role of women in ministry. Okay, why? Because at the time, Ephesus was the capital of Asia. And in Ephesus, there was a temple of Artemis, also known as Diana. All right. And it was a huge temple. She had a lot of followers. Who was Artemis? Artemis was a woman goddess, right? It was a cult. This cult was female-led, number one. She was believed to be the mother goddess, the source of life. She was believed to be the one who nourishes all creatures. She was the source of life. She was child of Zeus. And then there was the whole town ran around this temple and this goddess. Right? There's a lot of business around, people selling statue of this goddess. There's a lot of people who believed in this cult, and that's the context that Paul is dealing with. And Timothy is there leading the church under Paul. So Paul sees the need, not only Paul, but some of the other apostles as well. You're going to read the same idea of addressing a woman's role in marriage and ministry. So that's what Paul is doing. He's not necessarily saying, hey, you got to be quiet, you got to shut up, or that kind of stuff. No, he's addressing a situation that the church is being heavily influenced by this cult, which was a female-led cult, was a false goddess, and they used to dress very exotic and that kind of stuff, and even in the text you hear Paul saying, you don't have to do that, women. You got to just be submissive to your husband. And that's why Paul is kind of saying, hey, this cult here, the woman is leading the church. The woman there it's the pastor. We're not like that. There is some type of hierarchy here, and I wanted to tell you the role of women in ministry, and then I'm I'm going to play a video here of another of an apologetic pastor making comments on this video. So I want you to hear what he has to say here. Let's see if I can share the screen here where he is. Here we go. See here.
It's 1 Timothy 2, verses 9 through 16.
I also want women to dress modestly, with decency and propriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over a man. She must be silent. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety.
Is that the tolerant word of God?
That compassionate conservatism?
Paul is writing the letter to Timothy. Where is Timothy? He is pastoring in Ephesus. We read about Ephesus in Acts chapter 19. We read that in Ephesus, they were into goddess worship, Diana of the Ephesians. They were into pantheism, worshiping Mother Earth. That's what they were into. That's the historical context. So, women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety. Well, what's the problem here? Well, the problem is that certain over-spiritual people viewed sex as dirty, viewed childbearing as a sin. And so Paul is pointing out to Timothy, no, sex and bringing babies into the world is not evil. It's not a sin. And you're going to be kept safe through childbearing if you continue in faith, love, and holiness. Now, what about this bit about women dressing modestly? Well, it's real simple. The Bible continually communicates that materialism is wrong. And obviously what Paul is bending over backwards to do is to point out, watch out for immodesty. Watch out for materialism, from being too generous with yourself and not generous enough with others. What about this bit about not allowing a woman to teach? Well, that's weird, because Paul had a woman named Priscilla teach the great preacher named Apollos. So what's going on here? Well, what's the name of the movie where Barbara Streisand plays that young Jewish woman? Yentl, right? Go watch the movie Yentl. And what you learn is young Jewish women were not allowed to get an education. So Paul is essentially saying, ladies, if you've not had an education, don't presume to be a teacher. But obviously, those women who did get an education, Paul used as teachers, as he used Priscilla to teach the great preacher Apollos. You see why it's so important to study context, to read the whole thing through.
All right, so here we have it. What is your take on this? Do you think women should be in ministry, shouldn't be in ministry? My take on this is that because of the context at the time, Paul says to Timothy and gives a guidance for the role of women in ministry that is different from the false god Diana of the Ephesians. So that's why he emphasizes the role of women in ministry, because he did not want a woman without an education to try to be a teacher at the temple. They are not allowed to have an education anyways. Today, things are different, right? You go to a seminary anywhere, you see equal amounts of women and men getting an education for ministry. So that may not be the case of that. Those verses may not apply for us today. It's something to think about. What do you think? Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you in the comments.